Hey VC, this is Luke. My channel is Hot Wax and Cool Vinyl. Welcome back, unless this is the first time you're visiting my channel, in which case welcome and I hope you like it. This is the second part of my May 20th, 19th and 20th record purchases. I know it's been a bit, but I have been a little bit busy. For those of you who are unfamiliar, I live on the east end of Long Island, and summertime, May, spring, summer is really our season, and we start picking up and getting very busy, and it's been a little bit crazy. So without further ado, I'm going to start. Most of these I picked up in one sale, some I picked up at some thrift stores, and I'll mention where I got them as I go. Buddy Holly on original coral in 1950, I believe it's 56. Picked this up at Savers. I very rarely, if ever, actually score anything at Savers. This has got some, pretty decent scruffing, but it plays well enough that I'm going to keep it. I mean, if I run across a better copy, absolutely grab it, but otherwise, it's hard to come across these at all. This is the first time I've seen this one by Coral Records in the wild anywhere, so, I just grab it and I'll hold on to it. This was a collection I bought that included 5 Miles Davis and a few other things, but it was a very, very eclectic collection, and I didn't buy the whole collection. I was able to buy some, but here is the UK import of Madness Is My Girl, 12-inch EP, also UK import. This is Gen X, Billy Idol's band. Fun fact about Billy Idol, I think I mentioned it once before, but it's worth mentioning again because actually I'm from Long Island. Billy Idol was an actual Long Island native. He was born on the island. They moved to England. He formed Generation X with I don't even know who the other people in Gen X are, to be honest with you, sadly. But, Tony James, Terry Chimes, and James Stevenson. Gentlemen, I beg your forgiveness. But this is cool, Dancing with Myself, Untouchables. Dancing with Myself being the big hit on that one. Brubeck, Gone with the Wind. Pretty interesting. Later press on Columbia Brown Label. I hadn't seen that. Usually with Brubeck, it's either a Columbia 6i2i or the red later press. I hadn't seen this brown label, so it was kind of cool and it was interesting. And it plays well. Doors, gotta have some Doors. I have Wild Sands, but it was part of that purchase that I showed originally with the Sabbath and all the other stuff. Jimi Hendrix, Into the West. This one was missing from my collection, so I was very pleased to get my hands on that. This one, the cover was a little bit banged up, but completely split, but I'll re-glue it. Live at Last from Sabbath. Great little album, this is a Dutch press, so very cool. Alive She Cried, The Doors. Also missing from my collection on the vinyl side. Had it on CD, but not on vinyl. I didn't have this one. For whatever reason, I never made it back into my copy. So Full Moon, there you go. That's nothing. Come Dancing, Best of the Kinks, from a 77 to 86. Gatefold. Missing from my Kinks collection. Wasn't anything I was particularly sought after or searching, but I ran across it when I bought that one collection, and I was going to keep a few of them. This is one of them. This is also really cool. This is The Song Remains the Same, But this is the UK pressing of The Song Remains the Same. And I was, you know, if you remember the first video I had, there was a bunch of Zepp in there. That was cool. Yeah, no idea. Haven't played it yet. Spandau Ballet. This is when New Wave became New Age disco in my mind. With the Kajagoogoo and Spandau Ballet, ABC's The Look of Love. I mean, it just kind of went from early Blondie, early Cars to Spandau Ballet, which is, you know, it's okay. It's an easy listen. It's not very deep or profound. So I didn't have either of, well, I don't even know what Ya Ya is, and I didn't have any Spandau Ballet at all in my collection, so that works out. John Lennon Live in New York City, great record. I have one in my collection, but once cleaned, this is on the Capitol Rainbow label. Once cleaned, it should be a upgrade for me, both on the vinyl side and on the cover as well. If my notes in my Discogs app are accurate, it should be an upgrade copy for me. The Honey Drippers, very much in the same vein as the Spandau Ballet and the Ya Ya. It's there. You know, Heavy Cream, missing from my collection. Cover is a little bit beat, some flaking, but it's just, you know, I paid very little for these. I paid substantially less than $1 a record, so I'm not complaining about anything on these things. And most of them were in adequate enough condition with cleaning. They could be played well without very little noise. You know, some pops and some kicks, but I mean, other than that, you know, it wasn't like it's a wall of noise that you just like, Good Rats, Birth Comes to Us All. If you're not familiar with the Good Rats, I go find one of their records. The only way I can explain it is this is a great record. Find this record. Birth Comes to Us All. It can be had for $1 or $2. And just listen to it. I think if you like rock, classic rock, you'll like that. Paranoid by Sabbath. Dutch press. Very cool. Did not have. Gatefold needs to be, you know, cleaned because it's a little roachy. But it's a Dutch press of Paranoid. And yeah, very, very, very pleased to add this into my collection of Black Sabbath stuff. I mean, you know, it's just, I may listen to it once, maybe twice. I mean, I like Sabbath, but I'm not a huge Black Sabbath fan, as it were. Another copy of Introducing the Beatles, which is, oddly enough, their most bootlegged record ever from the Beatles. And this is also a bootleg. But, you know, it's a pretty decent copy of the album, and that can be traded or just, I have 2 copies of that already. One is actually a little worse for wear than this, so I just may swap them out and throw that one in my collection. I don't know if I showed this one already or not. Graceland from Paul Simon was in my want list. I'm missing from my collection. I know it wasn't a very hard find, but I didn't realize it wasn't in my file until I saw, I forgot whose video it was, but they mentioned it, and I was like, I wonder why that's not in my collection. And so I was able to get a copy of it, again, very inexpensively. I'll save this for last, and I'm going to go with these few here. Zeppelin 4. Really nice copy. It also happens to be the UK press, which I did not have. And so now I do, and I'm very, very pleased. It also plays really well. There wasn't a whole lot of noise or ticks or anything like that. I mean, it was cleaned, but still. Also, in Through the Outdoor, Portuguese press. Again, interesting. What's cool about this is if for Zeppelin fans, you guys know that there is 5 different covers, 5 or 6, 5, and they're numbered A, B, C, D, E, and F. 6, if they're numbered. I have to check. I don't recall. It's either 5 or 6, but it's the point of view based on everyone in the pictures looking at the man burning the love letter. This one, and they're actually on the spine. Each record has designated a letter combination, A, B, C, D, etc. as mentioned. I did not find one on this Portuguese press copy, so I do not know if they omitted it or if they only went with the one stock cover. I don't know, but I've never had a Portuguese press copy of Zeppelin anything, so now I do. Finally, presents. Also a UK press, also in very nice condition, and also something I did not have, and I am pleased to add to my collection. And then the last piece of this particular purchase that I made, which was really good fortune smiled upon me. Again, this is Led Zeppelin's Mudslide. Now this is the Blue Ribbon Records copy. It was the Vancouver concert, I think it was in '72. And if I'm not mistaken, they kind of took the record and recorded it from one of the radio stations in Vancouver. So the sound quality is actually not bad. But this particular record is interesting. It's Blue Ribbon Records. It is the blank label red vinyl, of which only 200 copies were made. So it's relatively rare and hard to come by, and very, very pricey on Discogs. So I was really very pleased to add this to my collection. Even though it is a bootleg, it's not anything that I'm probably going to play a lot of, but it's just, it's cool to have. Everyone likes to have those 1 or 2 pieces in their collection that are, you pull them out and you're one of the few who has them, so you can point to them and say, how cool is this, so to speak. So yeah, that one is going to be in my collection. So that sums it up. This was the weekend of the 19th and the 20th of May. We are now going to be, today's the 31st, tomorrow will be June 1st. And I have one more small stack of records that I purchased last weekend. The Miles Davis is predominantly what they are. And I'll kind of try to get one more video in and then finish that up and move along into June. So again, thank you very much for staying here and watching this. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of these records. Let me know if you like them, if you dislike them. If you like the channel, by all means, please feel free to follow or subscribe, and hopefully you'll have a great rest of the weekend. It's, like I said, tomorrow is Friday, June 1st. Looks like it's gonna be a meh kind of weekend out here on Long Island. So maybe I'll be able to get out there and hit a couple of thrift stores and find some fun stuff to share with you guys in future videos. So until then, cheers, have a great week. Take care all.